All right, welcome into another day of your daily Devo. I'm Pastor Rick, and we are in the book of Jude, and we're actually going to roll on into verse 11. I know you were thinking we were going to get through Jude real fast, but we want to take our time, make sure that we're not rushing anything. So here we are. Here we are, verse 11. It says, "Woe to them, for they have gone the way of Cain, have plunged into Balaam's error for profit, and have perished in Korah's rebellion." So I just thought we could dig a little bit into each of these three stories to try to understand a little bit about what was going on in each of those scenarios, so that we can kind of understand where some of the deceptions, the misguidings, the trappings come along for us in our Christian walk. Because Jude's telling them, hey, contend for the faith. Contend for the faith. Don't get lost in some of these areas. He talks about Sodom and Gomorrah and the sexual immorality and the perversions. But then he goes beyond that and he starts talking about Cain, Balaam, and Korah. So what was going on with Cain, Balaam, and Korah? So to just take them one at a time, let's talk about Cain. Cain, we're going back to the book of Genesis. We're going back, like Genesis chapter 4. So they go out in the field. In the course of time, Cain presented some of the land's produce as an offering to the Lord, and Abel also presented an offering. Abel was his brother. Some of the firstborn of his flock and their fat portions. The Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but he did not have regard for Cain and his offering. Cain was furious and he looked despondent. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you furious and why do you look despondent? If you do what is right, won't you be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it." I mean, there's a whole devotional that you could do right there on that, right there alone, you know. But you see, Cain was coming to the Lord on his own terms. Cain was going to meet with God on the way he wanted to meet with God. Abel was following the right path, exactly how, you know, the revelation of how God wanted. I mean, Adam and Eve had walked with God in the garden, and, you know, so who knows? Who knows exactly how all of that was communicated? But he did know that God had clothed his parents with the skins of animals after they came out of the garden, after sin, you know, had come, and the penalty of sin and all that. So Abel grabbed a hold of the fact that he wanted to offer God his best, the firstborn of his flock and their fat portions, like the best of the best of the best. Like Abel knew that that's what God required. Cain, on the other hand, he was just going to bring some produce. He's just going to bring some of the garden stuff, and he's going to offer that before the Lord. But that is not what the Lord demanded, expected, required. And so there's this attitude of doing it your way, and it being my way or the highway. And man, if I don't get recognized for doing it my way, I'm going to be ticked off. Because the Lord's just like, why are you so furious? Why, Cain, what's your deal, dude? Like, you know what you were supposed to do, and you didn't do it. And now you're going to be all grumpy and get despondent. Because you know if you did it the right way, it would be accepted. So first and foremost, you want to be one that comes into the presence of God and offers to God sacrifices that are according to what God has asked for. He wants our best. He doesn't just want the leftovers, the convenient thing, the thing that we feel like we can afford to give. So there's your Cain thing, right? And I'm not saying that we have just covered the whole Cain issue 100% thoroughly. Like, there is more that could be talked about the whole story of Cain. But now let's move over into Balaam. Balaam's error for profit. So basically, Balaam was a wisdom, or a kind of like a prophetic guy, it could, for hire. So they have gone astray. This is in 2 Peter chapter 2 and in verse 15. They've gone astray by abandoning the straight path and have followed the path of Balaam, the son of Bosor, who loved the wages of wickedness, but received a rebuke for his lawlessness. A speechless donkey spoke with a human voice and restrained the prophet's madness. So basically, some people came and they were like, hey, bro, we want you to come and we want you to speak a curse over these crazy Israelites because, man, they're a pain and we just can't handle them anymore. And so we want you to come and we want you to take care of business, all right? And God said, don't you dare go. Don't you dare go. So God came to Balaam, verse 9 of Numbers chapter 22. God came to Balaam and asked, who are these men with you? And Balaam replied to God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, sent this message to me. Look, a people has come out of Egypt. So the people that came out of Egypt, the Israelites, they covered the surface of the land. Now come and put a curse on them for me. I may be able to fight against them and drive them away. Then God said to Balaam, you are not to go with them. You are not to curse this people, for they are blessed. So Balaam got up the next morning and said to Balak's officials, go back to your land because the Lord has refused to let me go with you. So the officials go back and they report it. But then Balak sent officials again who were more numerous and higher in rank. So they upped the game a little bit with Balaam. They came to Balaam and said, this is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Let nothing keep you from coming to me, for I will greatly honor you and do whatever you ask me. So please come and put a curse on these people for me. But Balaam responded to the servants of Balak, if Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go against the command of the Lord my God to do anything, small or great. Please stay here overnight as the others did so that I may find out what else the Lord has to tell me, because I'm going to go to the Lord and I'm going to say pretty please. Okay. God came to Balaam at night and said to him, since these men have come to summon you, get up and go with them, but you must only do what I tell you. When he got up in the morning, Balaam saddled his donkey and went with the officials of Moab. Essentially, an angel blocked the path, and if it wasn't for the donkey basically running it into the wall and kind of crushing Balaam's foot up against the wall and hurting him a little bit, Balaam would have died. Like, the angel of the Lord would have just donezo, goner. Because the Lord was angry with him because why do you have them staying at your house, man? Why are you even entertaining this? Because I've already said not no, but super duper no. And yet you think that you need to be like, oh, just wait here, boys. Just stay the night. It's cool. I'm going to go see if I can convince the Lord to change his mind. So then the Lord's like, fine, have what you want. Have it your way right away. But it still angers the Lord when we desire things that are not in alignment with what he wants. So there's a little piece of Balaam's error for profit, because he was really interested in all of that honor. All right. And have perished in Korah's rebellion. So Korah, Now Korah, this is in Numbers chapter 16. Now Korah, son of Izhar, son of Kohath, son of Levi, with Dathan and Abiram, sons of Eliab, and and On, son of Peleth. Wow, that's a doozy of a name right there. Sons of Reuben took 250 prominent Israelite men who were leaders of the community and representatives in the assembly, and they rebelled against Moses. They came together against Moses and Aaron and told them, "You have gone too far. Everyone in the entire community is holy, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the Lord's assembly?" When Moses heard this, he fell face down. And he said to Korah and all his followers, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will reveal who belongs to him and who is set apart, and the one he will let come near him. He will let the one he chooses come near him. Korah, you and all your followers are to do this. Take fire pans tomorrow and place fire in them. Put incense on them before the Lord. Then the man the Lord chooses will be the one who is set apart. If you Levites it is you Levites who have gone too far." And I just thought it was interesting where he comes at Moses and he says, everyone in the entire community is holy and the Lord is among them. Why do you exalt yourselves above? Korah, what did you see that made you think that? So it seems that Korah was trying to get a whole bunch of influence and get a hold of that power. So we got one guy going for the glory, right? We got one guy wanting to be like kind of filled up with pride, kind of wanting to do his own thing, his own way, but still kind of get the blessing of God. So you got Cain trying to do his own thing, but still trying to get in good with God by, throwing a little stuff God's way and be like, "Hey, I got some carrots for you, man. It's going to be great." And you got Balaam that's just, obsessed with the money piece. And he's like, "Well, hey, maybe I could go with them and get a little bit of this money." And then you got Korah. He's like, "The power. I need the power," And so he's getting all these people. He's not satisfied to try to do it on his own. He's going to go grab a whole bunch of people with him. The Lord does not like it when you mess with his people. You try to raise up a rebellion against people. Like, even if Moses was wrong, that is not the way to go about it. Certainly wasn't in this situation. So there you have it, my folks. So don't go the way of Cain, who wanted to do it his own way. He wanted to do it his thing. He wanted to bring God what he wanted to bring God. He did not want to listen to what God said should be done. And then he wanted to be angry with his brother who did it correctly and and then kill him. There's that whole oh yeah, murdering your brother thing. Let's not get down with that, people, And so then you've got Balaam basically selling his gifting that he's got to the highest bidder. And then you got Korah looking for the power and the authority. It didn't go well. So that's what we're not going to do. We have 3 great examples of what not to do. So with that, God bless you. Have a great day, and let's go not be like Cain, Balaam, or Korah. Amen. All right. Take care. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.